First, like always, I want to start off by thanking my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for all that he has done and all that he will continue to do. Another game where we were close and had a chance to win, but we came up short. Proud of the guys and the way they continue to fight, but I'm tired of coming up close. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, not in football. So we have to find a way to win games like that. It was a tale of two halves. I think, the first half we gave up 30 points, couldn't stop a nosebleed. Then we came out in the second half and only gave up 7 and gave ourselves a chance to win the football game late in the game with a couple big defensive stops. But, explosive plays continue to haunt us. The inability to run the football, still a major concern. And we didn't win the kicking game. Even though we returned a punt for a touchdown, which was a great job by EK in the punt return unit, but we still gave up an 80-yard kickoff return that led to points and had a punt block. And statistics show that if you get a punt block, you're going to lose 90% of the time. But our coaches and players they're working hard to get this program where it should be. And we're not going to stop until we accomplish the mission. But coming from the bottom is hard. I knew when I took this job that it was going to be a tremendous challenge, but I really didn't understand, how bad it was. But to me, the main game kind of confirmed something for me. I think, number one, it confirmed that how powerful belief truly is. When our guys started believing that we could win the game, we made the plays that were crucial to get us back in the game, and they played with a lot of effort and intensity. But I also realized that non-belief is a force to be reckoned with. I don't believe personally that we've went into any game really believing that we were going to win. I think some of the games we were able to hang around, and then we started believing. But I don't believe that we've gone into any game knowing that we can win. Winning is hard. It's hard to do. But, that's what true competitors love about it. The work that's required to win is what drives successful people, successful companies, successful programs. Personally, I hate losing way more than I enjoy winning. After a win, I might enjoy it for a couple hours, and then I kind of move on to the next task at hand. But losses kind of stay with me forever. I don't ever allow a loss to hinder my preparation or affect my preparation. Instead, I kind of use it as motivation so that I don't ever have to feel that disgusting feeling again. But, losing is unacceptable. And to me, it's too many people in our program that have developed a tolerance for losing. I have zero tolerance for it. Got too many people that make excuses, blame external circumstances, talk about what we don't have, what we should have, how things used to be or how they should be. Something I wanted to share was last week in Bible study, our Pastor Harris, our team chaplain, Pastor Harris, said something that really resonated with me. And he was talking about how most people become too consumed with the enemy. An enemy could be your opponent or whatever challenge that you're facing in life. But the problem is never the enemy. The problem is the inner me. It's internal. And so our challenge is to get everybody involved in the program to ask themselves, am I doing everything that it takes to win? Am I doing my part? The will to win is not nearly as important as the will to prepare to win. Good program, well coached. Coach London's got an FCS national championship. Big athletic team. Got a quarterback that causes problems. Anytime you face a dual threat quarterback, that's an issue. I don't know how much sleep Coach Jones is going to get this week. So we got to come up with a plan and make sure we keep our eyes on them, keep them accounted for, and maintain our rush lane integrity and keep the ball in front of us. But, I'm really not going to change what I say. This week is no different than any other week for me, especially where we're at right now. Our main concern is taking North Carolina A&T off the schedule and us coming up with a plan, not only where we can go out and execute our offense and defense and in the kicking game, but a plan where we get these guys excited about the opportunity that we have. Nobody in the world believes that we can win this game. Nobody's expecting us to win this game. Who says we can't? So we got to prepare. We got to go up with the energy. Can't afford to start off slow. We can't give William and Mary 30 points or it's going to get ugly. We gotta wake up on Saturday morning ready to play and just go out there and play the game that we're capable of playing. And if we do that, I think we got a chance. And that's all you can ask for in life. I think the first thing is, you said team. That's what we got to be. And what is a team? It's a group of guys that believe in each other, that pull for each other, that are fighting, everybody pulling in the same direction. And that's what we're trying to get. Once we get everybody pulling in the same direction and believing that we're capable of winning, which we are, and then doing all the things that's required from a fundamental standpoint and a technical standpoint and an effort standpoint, then we'll be okay. I had a cut-up that I showed the team yesterday. We took about 11 plays that we showed of guys with just phenomenal effort or guys doing what they're coached to do. And so when they look at those plays, now you can see, you got a visualization of what it takes to be successful. So the more plays we can get like that, the better we'll be. But it's too inconsistent, and it's too big of a difference between our good plays, our good players, and their backups. So we got to close that gap, and we got to start playing with more effort. And we're going to demand the effort, but again, effort is something that's internal. That's something that's in you. That's something we got to get out of these guys. And if they'll play with effort and play with good fundamentals, we'll have a chance against, I believe, against anybody left on our schedule. I've talked to the players, and I'm trying to figure out where that comes from, because that's not just, it's not in me. I'm always going to, I have an unwavering belief in myself, in the coaches, in the team. So I can't relate to anybody not believing. I don't know where that comes from, but obviously it came from something and some past trauma, whether that be something in your life or the stuff we've had to deal with around here the past couple of years. But it has to be addressed. But like I said, we need to work on the inner me. So that's something that each and every person has to answer themselves. Why don't I believe? And then we got to try to figure out what we can do to make them believe. I think winning makes you believe. Success offensively or defensively, making plays makes you believe. But football's a game of peaks and valleys, highs and lows, and it's not always going to be good. So you have to believe in yourself through the good and the bad. So that's something that we're continuing to search for and try to figure out. But I think it starts internally. Well, I wouldn't say encouraged. That's my expectation. I've always believed since I first got here and watched that kid that he's a special quarterback, and he's still not 100%. He hasn't even gotten close to what he can be. But what I like about Kevin is the way that he competes. He's a warrior. He's out there playing. He's not at 100%, but you watch him on the sideline. He's into the game. He's trying to encourage guys. He's trying to motivate guys, and that's what quarterbacks do. They're motivators. He's done a good job of managing the game. The thing that Kevin really needs to work on, and that starts with Coach McGee, is really his fundamentals, because I'm sure he has, I know he has a couple throws that he wishes he had back, but that comes down to fundamentals, footwork, and things of that nature. So as he continues to improve with his fundamentals, his accuracy will improve, and then his athleticism can take over. But I think Kevin is a really good quarterback, and I'm excited about the future for him. Well, we're gonna take what the defense gives us. Of course, we want to establish the run game, and that's what we got to do. If we can establish a run game, that makes him even more dangerous. When you have to load the box up, and now you can give him some single coverage, and we got the receivers that can make some plays. I think Javon Dillard, JD showed a glimpse of what he can be this week. Had a fantastic one-hand catch for a touchdown. Elijah Kennedy, not only did he return a punt for a touchdown, but he had over 200 yards total offense. So we got some guys that can make some plays, and we still haven't been able to show how good Monty Jones is and some other guys. So if we can run the football, that can make our offense even more explosive. But Kevin has done a good job of managing the game. And, if we can't run the football, then we have no choice but to open it up a little bit. Well, I mean, if you come to practice, you see Tim Alderman gives you everything he's got in every period. That's who he is. That's who he was at Fort Valley, and that's why we were so lucky to get him up here. He's one of the better players in the CAA, one of the better players in FCS football, and I think he has a chance to play on Sundays. I think he will play on Sundays. But it's his work ethic. It's the person he is. It's the family that he comes from that makes Tim what he is. You can look in your teammate's eyes and know if he believes. And really, belief is the wrong word. It's knowing. We just use belief. But you can look at the guy's eyes next to you, or you can look before the game and look in somebody's eyes and see if they're ready to go. So that's what I look. I'm trying to look into your soul. You can lie, and you come in somebody came in our locker room before the game. Oh, they'd be in trouble. When they're in there listening to that NBA young boy, oh man, we tough. All right, but once the game starts, where does all that go? Where does all that go? You got to play the game. When that guy in the white hat comes out there and he puts the ball down, it's time to go. Now, what are you going to do then? Then you can look in somebody's eyes. And if you see milk in their eyes, they're not ready. But when you see that fire that you'll see in people like EK's eyes, I looked in his eyes before the UCF game, and I said, oh, he's ready. No fear. But that's what we got to get in everybody on our team, no fear. So close. So close. Because we have a lot of guys that believe. A lot of guys. Some of our Tim Alderman, EK, Kevin White, JD, a whole lot of guys, the Corian Sharp, a lot of guys that believe. But what I try to make the team understand is that we have to realize how important each and every one of us is. I look at the team like a car. Everybody sees the external part of the car, and everybody thinks the engine is what makes the car go. But that car ain't going nowhere without spark plugs. It can't go anywhere without the lug nuts. So everybody on the team matters, and we got to get everybody on the team buying in to their specific role and believing in it and being a star in their role. And then once we do that, I think we can take off. We've been in a lot of games. I personally don't believe, and I've heard a lot of stuff about, how good this conference is, and it is. But from a straight personnel standpoint and talent, we're not close to what we're going to be. But from what I've seen, I don't think anybody really overwhelmed us with talent. I don't think Tennessee State had better talent than us. Hampton, we know they didn't. North Carolina Central, a little bit, but it wasn't a big talent gap. In Maine, it was even, from a talent perspective. So, it's obviously something internal that we got to fix and get our guys believing that they can win. But we're super close. We're super close. But like I said, we're coming from the bottom. So when you're coming from the bottom, it's hard to get guys to buy in to doing everything that's required to win, because winning is hard.